I want to start tonight by saying we started this thing a long time ago, and we continuously seeing it change. And I can honestly say that tonight it's the change that I've been waiting for. So we got our very first guest in the Hooga tonight. This is the real deal. I got Shoots, I got Jay in here. They moderating, they operating, they producing, they doing their thing, and I'm just grateful. Thank you, God, for putting these type of people around me. Thank you, God, for continuously testing me, continuously making me walk uphill. And I'm excited for what you got. I'm excited for what you got for me. So keep the punches coming, keep the blessings coming, and we live from the Hooga. So with that being said, this guest of mine tonight is you. I can't even put into words. Like, I went through a very, very rough situation when I was in college, and I had so many people around me, but this person sitting across from me was major in a night that was like my first step towards healing. KT, welcome to the Hooga, G.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome to the Hooga. How are you?
I'm good. I'm all right. How
Man,
are you?
KT, I feel like the only way we can do this is because you see the content and stuff like that, and you see the things that we talk about. So I feel like a lot of people already know, and they're already aware that the women in my life are powerful women.
For sure.
So I want you to give them context as to who you are, what we are, and where we're about to go in the direction of the conversation tonight, because we already know what we about to do.
Oh yeah, it's gonna get real deep.
Let me talk to him.
What's up, y'all? My name is KT, also known as Miss Mamas, and I am a writer, vocal enthusiast, and mother to the masses. Mason has been my dog ever since we met, and one night we had a pivotal conversation that never died, and it started to become life for the both of us. And to compare us in college to now seeing us as full functioning adults doing what we're doing and actually living an authentic life that brings authentic conversation, authentic feelings, it's going to be real tonight. So if you somebody that needs to be sugar-coated and your hand held all the time, you might get your feelings hurt tonight. If you somebody that has a fixed mindset, you might not like tonight, because tonight it's going to get past real. We're going to get real emotional. We're going to get real intimate. We're going to get real up in here. So only the real going to survive this one.
For sure.
For sure.
So you mentioned you a poet. So let me tell y'all something about this poetry. So I'm in here writing. By the way, Consider Poetry is available. So I wrote Consider Poetry, and a lot of people thought that it was poetry. I think the name came from just like, it was just a bunch of creative writing that I did, whatever the case may be. Y'all can say I'm a poet. Y'all run with that. But KT is a poet. KT is a poet. She did a poem. It was titled Wasted Love, and I want to hear it again.
Want to hear Wasted Love, Mason?
I want to hear Wasted Love one more time.
Okay.
Because that's where we going.
Well, let's talk about it. No, this is not wasted love. I just hate when you're wasted love. Drunk off the love that you didn't know how to handle responsibly. Intoxicated by the lustful spirit that arose when you glanced at my figure and figured that I can medicate you with my healing hands. But in reality, all I'll be doing is feeding your hunger, setting you back, putting a recall on your rehab practices by taking shots of my love until your thirst for satisfaction was quenched. But ain't no refills of me, baby. I have nothing else to pour into you. You ran me dry, and now you lost without supply. And I hope you find in this dry time with a coherent state of mind, this whole time, you were the problem in your progression. You opted out of a one-time blessing. I tried communication and love languages, but all you knew was English. And I prayed for the angel in you while you activated the demon in streets that don't respect your drive. Why is your queen bee lonely looking for honey in y'all hive? Your love should not sting so bad. You're really like the experience of getting a tattoo, because everything you sew in ink feels so crucial, yet looks beautiful from others' point of view. I guess beauty is pain. And if that's the case, Picasso ain't got shit on me. An abstract masterpiece can't be truly seen by recruiters of Maybelline. Maybe this was make-believe. But no, this was not wasted love. I just hated when you were wasted love. I hated feeling like a waste to you, love. I never wanted to waste this love, but our cup has runneth over. Peace.
KT, that's crazy that you really be sitting back and you can come up with something like that.
Man, living. You have to live and you have to sit in your emotions. I feel like our generation doesn't want to sit in anything. They don't want to sit in emotions. They don't want to sit in thought. They don't want to sit and deal with their feelings and deal with their realities and how that made them feel. How did they perceive some of the situations with love? Everybody wants love, but don't nobody want to deal with the phases of love. And sometimes love can feel like abandonment. Love could feel like attachment or detachment. Love could feel like codependency or independency. Love could take you so many different places, and you have to sit with it in order to stay in love and understand like where it takes you. And that's basically what wasted love was about, because not only does it live in romantic love, but it lives in platonic love. It lives with love with your family, love for yourself. You can feel that with anything. You feel me? So, you know, being a writer, you have to sit with your truths in order to make a story for other people to hear.
Yeah. Even the stuff that I write, like the stuff that I write, a lot of it, I be having to remix it and blend it and make it a little bit of something else.
Right.
Because I haven't gotten there from a maturity level to where it's like the stuff that really, really be on my heart and on my mind, like I'm able to articulate it in a way that I won't like really, really damage myself. And we talked about that too.
Yeah.
I said that like some of the content that I think was like my best messages didn't perform as well as the stuff that I feel like I just articulated very well. And that's what art is, right? When we talk about art, like the whole point of art is, you know, there's a message in something, and the best way to get it across is through beauty. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like for you to be a poet for real, it's like you can teach a lesson. Like you can really, really open somebody's eyes up and open somebody's heart up to a message, but you do it artistically. And it's like that's real. Like that's like Renaissance. You feel me? That's something that like has gotten lost.
Lately,
honestly.
I've been praying. One of my prayers is every time that I go perform poetry, every time that I share a piece of my work, I don't care if it touch 1 million people, I don't care if it touch one. Let it touch somebody and let it resonate in a positive mindset so that they can live their life better after they hear me and after they feel me. With poetry, I'm not trying to do it to get anybody to side with me. I'm not doing it for attention. I'm doing it because some of these stories, they only, when other people hear it, they resonated with it because I talk about things that are dealt with and not talked about. You feel me? I want to be that safe space for someone, no matter where I'm at. And that's one thing that I pray for, honestly.
Man, it's crazy that you say that because, so I got a situation going on and my guys know about it. There's a guy who goes word for word and he takes my content and he posts them
Are you
on
serious?
his page, right? Yeah, so it's like complete plagiarism, right? And I'm not trying to diss him. That's why I'm purposely not going to say his name. But the message in that to me is that he takes every video, even the stuff that isn't necessarily popular, and he's taking this message and he's putting it up. And then it either becomes popular, it doesn't, but either way, people are getting the message. So who am I to stop that? If the goal was to get the message out, I don't care how it gets across. That's what we're talking about, art.
Exactly.
You feel me? Sometimes the ugliest pictures, the roughest situations, still have a really good message in it. You feel what I'm saying? And it's like, I really, really sit with that. And I know that's way, way deeper than it got to be when we're talking about videos. But the fact of the matter is that that lesson taught me that. Regardless of how it taught me, I received that.
It's authenticity.
Yeah.
Authenticity ain't cute. It's not pretty.
It's not.
It's very raw. It's very uncut. And it gets ugly. But it's so beautiful in the end because it teaches you things. It shows you things that you didn't know could be viewed for real. It brightens you and it broadens your vision. So with being authentic and giving an authentic message, somebody is going to wish that they had that message in them. And they're going to try to take it. But they don't know that they doing it for clout, and it may give them that. But as long as you touching the people, that's all that really matters. You feel me?
For sure.
And people know you, so they know That's Mason content. I've heard that before. And then they're going to go back to your content. So he ain't doing nothing but keeping your name alive anyway.
Which is fine. And it's so crazy because when we talk about authenticity, I continuously go to David and Goliath.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the place that I go every single time I think of authenticity, because it's like, how individualized do you have to be? How sure of yourself do you have to be to turn down the king's armor,
Man,
and fight Goliath with a slingshot?
man, you
How lethal are you with that slingshot to turn down the king's sword? And it's not
Exactly.
because the sword is, it's not nothing like a, just being bold as hell. It's more so of like a, bro, like, you need to pick your authentic way of fighting and fight, period. Because you will be strong enough, you will be brave enough to take down what everybody else was scared to go against.
Exactly.
You feel what I'm saying? And that's where authenticity plays
That's
a part.
why you got to have that faith the size of a mustard seed. Mustard seeds are small as fuck. Like, if people don't understand what a mustard seed is, that's like one of the smallest things to ever hold in your hand. And to have faith that small, even that tiny, it'll move mountains for you. It'll fight that demon. It'll really move those, what other people would call obstacles, but really it was just your maneuvers to get from one path to the next path to continue to elevate on God's path. You need that faith. Sometimes your vision is only your vision because only you need to have it. God only gave you that vision. God gave that slingshot to David. And sometimes I'll be feeling like what the Bible don't say is God knew that certain prophets even weren't going to listen. God gave us choice.
And that's exactly why a third of the angels that were in heaven, in paradise, in
Exactly.
perfect conditions,
Exactly.
still got cast out of heaven. Why? Rebellion.
You got choice.
You got a choice.
People don't understand how far choice will take you. Choice is everything that you do. Don't say something made me do. No, you had a choice.
You got a choice.
God didn't put you in that predicament. You had a choice. God knew what his creation was capable of. That's why no matter what, God still resonates with us. But we got a choice. And sometimes faith is a choice. Sometimes you have to really sit back and be like, no, I can't believe that. You're choosing not to believe that. You're choosing not to see the brighter side. You're choosing to only see the negative. Or you choosing to only see the positive side. I don't want to see the negative today. It's a choice. Like, all of these things are choices. And when people feel like, man, life just beating my ass right now, you letting it beat your ass. Because you did not get up. You did not fight back. And then when you did throw punches back, it was so weak that life knew I could still fuck with him. I could still get to him. The quickest way to get over trial and tribulation is not giving up.
It's not giving up at all. It's
And
so
it's
crazy.
a choice.
So when we talk about faith, right, there's a psychological study out called the marshmallow test. And I want you to try it with your baby too. I really want you to try it. The marshmallow test is basically, and there was a trend on TikTok too, and you put a marshmallow in front of the baby and you say, you can have this marshmallow right now. You can have this one marshmallow, but if you wait 10 minutes, you can have two. And they made it a trend on TikTok and they were doing it. And then it's basically like the kids are trying their hardest not to get this marshmallow because it's in front of them.
Right.
It's a tangible thing right in front of them.
Right.
And now they mentally have to buy into the fact that, okay, cool, I can get two marshmallows, these hypothetical marshmallows, these marshmallows I can't see, these marshmallows that I don't even know if they're promised. I mentally have to buy into that because I know that is a better thing for me.
Exactly.
Right? And it's like, that teaches discipline, that teaches self-control, and that teaches delayed gratification.
Man.
And all of those things are core themes in religion.
That third one, delayed gratification. People don't understand that you have to give gratitude and be patient in order to get satisfactory in the end. You have to wait. Just wait. It's not even actually delayed. You just gotta wait. It's like prolonged almost. And when you give that gratitude, you get gifted. And it takes patience.
Yeah.
It's a choice to be patient. It's a choice to give gratitude so you can get something else.
Right.
So when you said delayed like gratification, that's that biggest one that people don't talk about.
That's the one nobody talks about.
Man.
You know how hard it is? And this is crazy. By the way, shout out to Jay. Shout out to Jay. He taught me. He said that, and I think that you said that he said it too. I think you said that y'all were talking about it. And you said that you don't pray for inspiration or motivation, you pray for discipline. Right? And it's like, to be disciplined is to really do something you don't want to do, but you see it working out later.
You ain't never lied.
Do you know how hard it is to be disciplined? Where it's like,
do I?
You really do want to just sit back and chill. You really do want to. And it's like a lot of the projects that I'm into right now, they don't pay me or they don't come out the way that I envision it coming out until later. So it's very, very hard to get people to buy into that. How do you get somebody to buy into buy into this vision, right? But the fact of the matter is that if I don't stay disciplined, I'll never get there.
Exactly.
Like, I'll never, ever get there. You feel me? So the discipline in the doing the thing, not even knowing how long you about to be doing the thing.
Man.
And just doing it, just out of faith, just blind faith. Like,
discipline is one of those things that it's really up to you for real.
It's really up to you.
I feel like the biggest thing I learned in this past year, trying to help other people be disciplined, and got to understand that I got to be disciplined in my own right to understand that I have to just be in control of my self-discipline. Because discipline is an individual choice. You could motivate somebody and inspire somebody to the 10th power. But if they ain't disciplined, it ain't going to mean nothing.
It don't mean nothing.
A lot of people are inspiring. A lot of people can
inspire.
inspire.
You know I used to play football, right?
Yeah.
You know how many niggas we done came across who had all of the talent. I'm talking about like golden ticket, like everything handed to them, like from a gift standpoint, like can run, jump, cut, all of that. The motherfuckers who was on the field and the motherfuckers who stuck around were the people who did what they were supposed to do. Not the shit that we was like, okay, cool, let's just go out there and see what they do. Let's just go see them perform. Like, nah. The motherfuckers who seen the itinerary, made it to everything on time and did what they supposed to do. And it's crazy because there are real life athletes who just got out of college or been out of college for a couple years. They're lost as fuck right now. Yeah. Because they never learned that part. They only knew how to perform. You feel me? But then when it came to the like doing the day to day, like the process, they never aligned with that. So now they don't even know how to transition that into the world because it's like the thing about athletes, in my opinion, they have the best skills.
They do.
That you could possibly have. Leadership, confidence, performing under pressure, showing up.
All of that take discipline,
mental, staying off that shit. A majority of them, a lot of them fall victim, but staying off of that shit, you feel me? All of those traits, but they never learn the discipline part of it. So they can't transition that into anything else.
But everything you just listed, it takes discipline to even get there.
Right.
And we watch our peers fall off in college. At St. Xavier, I've watched so many athletes with so much potential fall short because they did not have the discipline, whether it was to work out, whether it was to keep your grades at a decent point so you can play. Stay disciplined enough to keep yourself healthy, not fall under peer pressure. Stretch. Do the things that you need to do. When you cross that stage, that don't mean that the discipline stops. It conditions you to go off the stage and live life in that disciplinary track. People think that once you graduated, you done did the work. No, that's like the crumb of the work
like
that
you're
you
literally
have
still
to
a
do.
baby. Like,
Exactly.
and we're grown now. When you hear a motherfucker is 21, 20, struggling, you be like, you're a baby. And it's like not even on no old head shit, but it's like, shit. When you get to this point, you just gonna realize that that's life. You just gonna realize like life is life. You feel me? You think you're struggling right now, but you're not really. Like that's just what you go through
Even
when you're
the years
trying.
of 20 to, I feel like the most craziest years is 19 to 22. You're like night and day. Once you reach, right now I'm 23, and I think about the 20-year-old me. I wasn't a menace or anything, but the things that I thought was just so bad was not that damn bad compared to what's going on now. Not saying that it's bad, but life really will whoop your ass over and over and over again. And you have to be disciplined enough to take those punches and still go. and not blame nobody else for the punches. Do not be the victim of your reality. That's your reality. Go live it. Be disciplined so that won't be your reality tomorrow. Like, don't fall victimized to yourself. You cannot do that. You understand your trials and tribulations, but you also got some blessings. Pay attention to the blessings, but be disciplined to the point where some of those trials become lessons and your lessons become your earnings. You feel me?
Yeah.
It takes discipline to make that a transition. Discipline is something that our generation run from, for real, for real. And it's sad.
It's sad.
It's so sad.
It's hard to lock in with undisciplined people too. It's hard to lock in with people who like value the process for real. Like it's very, very hard to do that, especially like now that I'm like in business and stuff like that. It's like, how do you get people to be like, okay, cool, yeah, sit down. Like we finna just literally be in this bitch and just come up with ideas and act on them for the next 3 hours though.
So about a third of that, not even a third, 3/4 of that room gonna clock out in 45 minutes.
Because you know what it is? They don't see a instant return on the investment. You feel me? And it's like, that's what you pray to God for.
Exactly.
God, give me delayed gratification. That way I don't stop working. And that's something that mentally I train myself for. So when I'm in a gym and I'm doing something where I'm timing it and it's like 30 seconds, I don't start the timer and then look at the 30 seconds.
Right.
I close it. And I let my mental be like, bro, don't worry about the time. Just go until you reach the goal.
Exactly. Because the
And it's
timer's
like
gonna
little
go off.
exercises like that. The timer gonna go off, but you got to keep working.
Exactly.
You feel me? But you watching the clock and you looking at what comes after the fact and you waiting on the end goal. It's like you don't really fall in love with the process of things. And it's very, very hard to get people to enter your life and teach them that. Relationships too.
Relationships too. I need people to understand that time is not promised. Do not look at the end goal. You might not be here to see the end goal, but that's the most beautifulest part that it lives on after you. If you're doing it with a purpose, it's to feed not only you, but the next man, whether it's intellectually, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, no matter what. Don't look at the end goal. Look at the vision on where it can go and say it's not going to end with me. That's how you know people ain't selfish, and that's how you know what you're creating is authentic, when you know it's not going to end with you. You feel me? Like, it's a term for it. Where external love. That's what I'm talking about.
External love.
When you do external love to the point where you're giving love to your community and your craft, to the point where what you're doing is going to feed back into you. One of my consistent prayers I pray for every day is for God to align my vision with his will.
Yeah.
Not my will. Align my vision with yours so I can understand why am I here.
Order my steps.
Order my steps and your word every single day. And I'd say, forgive me for the points where I'm confused and I don't have faith. Forgive me for the times where I worry so much. It was a line I wrote in a poem, and one of the lines was, I worry so much that my faith got a warrant out for my arrest. My faith has to be aligned. My goals, my vision, my heart, it's got to be aligned with God if I want to do God's work. How do I do God's work if I'm not in God's preparation, if I'm not having that discipline? You know, if we're all entities of God, you have to carry those traits. If you're not turning to God, some of those things ain't going to never manifest. You got to align that vision with his will every time.
Happy you here, Jay.
I'm happy to be
Let's
here.
check on my guys. How we doing, fellas? We straight? Everything and everything? How the live doing? What they talk about? Everybody cool? I ain't gonna lie, we got sick, bro. My throat hurt.
What SpongeBob say? You caught the suds.
Man, caught the suds. Selling. Man, KT. So, what's been going on recently? Talk to me. What's been going on recently?
Ooh.
How's the kid first? Let's talk about that.
My baby is 4 months. She just turned 4 months on Sunday. Shout out to my baby Genesis. I love her so much. She has been a beautiful challenge. My baby is very calm. I'm grateful that I don't have a baby that's just crying and crying and crying, angry, upset. Her aura, it matches whatever she's going through. Mm-hmm. It teaches me patience, teaches me to listen. She has taught me how to listen so much. And it's a beautiful thing to carry life that I know came from me, that I carried for 9 months. Actually, 10 months. Yes, I made it to the 10-month mark.
I gotta go to consider poetry for what you just said.
Man, look.
I gotta go to consider poetry for what you just said.
Man, having a child is one of the most purest things. And when you love for real, it's so pure and it's so profound in a positive way. It's just something that you gotta give instant gratification for
Wow.
real.
I wrote this, KT. I said, this is a grown man, right? So just exactly how you just said that your baby expresses every emotion that she's going through, right? Basically, that's her truth. And if you really pay attention to it, she's telling you what's going on, right? Like, it's that, right? So I wrote, there's a recurring theme in God's will. Clever was to internalize my emotions early, my first act of self-defense. I didn't know mental warfare until those emotions began to articulate themselves. It's hard work trying to be something you aren't. Acting outside of myself has made me work a lot harder than I've required to. We live in a reckless time. Culture glamorizes unsustainable personas, and if you don't wear one, then you won't be accepted. I've never considered myself a tough guy. I was forced to wear it. It feels like every day is Halloween, but this is where I'm trying to get to. I understand a perspective could be fact to me and fiction to you.
Yep.
Fact to me and fiction to you.
Let's talk about it.
Like,
let's talk about it.
And we was talking about the recent girlfriend of mine, and I was saying that what was dope about her is that she talked a lot, she rambled a lot, she expressed herself a lot, but every single time I really learned to sit there and listen, she was telling me exactly what was going on.
For sure.
We talked, we was like, was this manipulation? Was this like every single thing that she's going through, it's on me to fix? And we came to a middle ground and said, it's definitely not manipulation if she's not doing it just to fuck with me. Like if she's really, really feeling like this, then it's real, right? And it's like, I learned to accept that in her. And then I was also learning how to give that back, you feel me, into the world, into the content, into the people that's around me, right? It's like, bro, tell it what it is. Tell it as it is, you feel what I'm saying? And it's like, don't necessarily be blinded by the fact that, okay, cool, this is coming up at this time or it's coming out this way. Like, receive the message, you feel me? Because emotions don't make sense. So if a motherfucker is screaming and sad and going all over the place, that's just blinding the fact that there's a message in it.
You know, when people are screaming and they're going insane, it's not even channeled that they're doing all of that. In their perspective, they're just trying to explain.
That's it.
And they've had enough. A lot of times when we're getting screamed at, we can't even receive the message because we're on defense mode all day, every day. If I'm getting screamed at, I'm damn near scared. So I'm going to have this wall up. I'm no longer in a vulnerable place where you could come to me as a safe space. Now I don't feel safe. So now I got my dukes up. I'm ready to fight. Because whatever your perspective is, it's not even being perceived in a message that I could comprehend in order to channel, receive, not respond, but to understand.
Yeah.
Once somebody's yelling and they're upset, and I've been guilty of this too, you cannot yell and expect for you to be heard.
No.
Because what people are hearing is now your anger, your frustration, and your mannerisms. They hear that and they see that, but also they're hearing what's going on in their brain and it's loud. They can't talk to me like this. I'm upset. I'm afraid. This is not making me feel at peace. And now my perspective is I need to go. A lot of times that fight or flight will kick in fast. And either you're going to start fighting or you're going to start flying. And a lot of times when you get to that point where you yelling and screaming, the conversation don't went out the middle. Like, it's not communication no more. Yeah. It's really a battle with the ego.
Yeah, I think that communication should be a subject for real. Like, well, I know it is, but it's more so like writing papers and stuff. But I think like really teaching how to have tough conversations and like teaching how to negotiate, teaching how to debate.
You know, that was my major in college.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm grateful for the professors because it could have been just a subject. The professors what made it a world of communication where we had to talk about some things that you did not think we would talk about in the classroom with people that you know don't have the same background as you. And you are really weighing on, you could do all the research, but the perspective will never change. Your bias will only switch a certain percentage because you have the experience that you have. So you could do all the research, but your experience will always be in your back pocket.
Yes.
And when it comes to debates, your experience, unless you could format it into a factual argument,
A valid
it
argument.
does not matter.
It doesn't.
When it comes to debating that emotions, the envy, the anger, even the vulnerability, it don't matter, because the debate is who wins the argument
Right.
based on fact
And it's just
and
discredits
authenticity.
all of the things that mean the most.
Yep.
So that's why, like, so we did a little activity the other night. We called it the hot spot, basically. You seen the Great Debaters?
Yeah.
And basically, like, they was on the debate team and he put the X in the floor, and it was basically like they had to go up there and debate him, right?
Yep.
They had to argue against him. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, I could repurpose that into a very healthy communication style. And when somebody steps into the hot spot, we do it like a discussion post. And rather than us making it a yes or no answer, everybody gives their perspective, and everybody's perspective is heard and received because that's their truth.
Yep. And once somebody in that hot spot, there is no interruption.
It ain't no
There is
interruption.
there's no counter argument. That hot spot is that hot spot. That's the objective that we're talking about.
And the listener is there to hear the correct answer. That's like the mindset. It's like no matter what the question is, no matter who the answerer is, you sit down and you're about to listen to the correct answer because it's a perspective.
Yeah, it's your perspective. How can I tell you that you're wrong and that's your perspective? That's your truth. That's your experience. I cannot sit here and say you're wrong for saying that if your perspective was clear. The only way you can say if somebody is wrong is if y'all both experienced it and verbatim you have factual evidence to really, like, that makes them look like they contradicted every piece of evidence that you pulled up.
Right.
That's the only way you could say somebody is wrong. But listening to somebody else's reality and their perspective, it may not align with yours, but who are you to say that it's wrong in the first place? You can't. I'm glad that you read that, because I had a free write. And this was my last line to it.
Let me hear it.
I said, but God knows that a wise man knows nothing. So with that being stated, let these so-called facts remain as just my perspective. That's how I ended the free write. Because when you have all these mental notes and all these feelings and all these, this ain't right, and this should be like this and this should be like that, in your eyes, it should be like that. In your eyes, it should be like this or that. In your eyes, this was wrong or this was right. In somebody else's eyes, it could be a whole 180. It was not that way. It was exactly that way. It's your perspective.
And you know what growing up taught me? I had a cousin who I felt was the ultimate contrarian. Like, if you said something, he was walking in the room to disagree with it, right? But this is what he taught me, though. He taught me this, is that if we were to say 2 + 2 = 4, to a lot of people, that's the way to get to 4. But he taught me that you can get to 4 by 1 + 3. You can get to 4 by 8 - 4. You can get there -12 + 16, right? There's so many different ways to get to 4.
1 + 1 + 1 + 1.
1 + 1 + 1 + 1. And it's like, at the end of the day, that's the truth. But debating and arguing is basically hearing something that's true and trying to prove them wrong and trying to say, like, no, this is the way to get to it. And that's a scientific principle. Like, in science, it's like, you can't say something is wrong unless you can prove it wrong. You can't say something is right unless you can prove it right.
Exactly.
Right? And I think that when it comes to perspective, that's another route to solving the problem. Like, that's another route, and you got to accept it. And you got to validate it.
That fairness doesn't exist. Like, things like when kids, when we feel like we get fucked over, we be like, that's not fair.
Right.
My mom told me this, and I love her so much for this one fact that stuck with me for the rest of my life. My brother did something, don't remember what it was, and I was like, that's not fair. And she said, life's not fair, and then you die. And left the room. Fucked my brain up. I was a child. I was a child. I was like, what? But now as an adult, I understood what she was saying. Life is not fair. It will never be fair. You're not going to get everything that you pour. You pour out good. Not all good is going to come to you, but you're going to have good karma. Life ain't fair. Perspective ain't fair. Sometimes we be mad at our own damn perspective on how we see things, but that don't mean it's right or wrong. Right or wrong is subjective on whoever's looking at it.
100%.
It's always been like that.
You know, something funny as hell Coco Jones said on like a comedy show. She said, who would she be if she got everything she prayed for? Like, everything. And the way I see it is that when I be praying, the stuff that I don't necessarily see with my own eyes, I view it as an unanswered prayer, when in reality I need to view it as God is protecting me from something, right? So every prayer is answered. It just might not be the answer you like.
But here's the thing, though. I'm glad you said it like that, because who are we to come to God with these long ass lists of requests? We ask God for so much. Why don't you try asking God, God, how are you? Who is being the checker for God? Who is loving God? Some people go to God for just requests, just for answers. You have to love God. Spend that time, because then your answers will get fulfilled. Not even answered, because you have to listen in order to get the answers. You're not going to get them off visuals. You're going to get it by listening. But getting your prayers fulfilled, that means you're listening to everything that God is saying. You're watching everything that God is doing, and you're receiving everything that God is giving with a grain of salt. And you live, and you say thank you, and you continue to love, and you continue to try, and you continue to be disciplined and do the work. And then when you go to God, not only with a list of requests, but a list of gratitude, a list of just reflection, with life. You know, God is not Santa Claus. That's why I feel like a lot of us don't get blessed the way that we want to, because we go to God like he a 7-Eleven.
Right.
Like, God is an entity. God got emotions too. Like, sometimes you just got to sit there and be like, you know what? I didn't give gratitude today. Let me go in prayer and not ask for nothing.
Yeah.
I challenged my homie to do that. Next time you pray, don't ask God for nothing. He asked me, so what do?
You love him.
You go to God and say, God, thank you for all of these things, all of these people, all of these lessons, all these experiences, how far I have come in these 20 plus years. You say, I'm sorry. That's one of the most vulnerable things you could ever do. Saying you sorry to a human is hard enough. Saying you sorry to God
And meaning it.
and meaning it, because to say I'm sorry means I will not do that again. You have to be vulnerable with God to experience God full-fledged. Because, you know, God going to always come find you, but you got to accept the finding. You feel me?
100%.
Sometimes you just got to go to God and be like, I'm not asking for nothing today. Or you could be like, you know what? I just want my people safe. Yeah. Other than that, I'm going to give you the gratitude. I'm going to give you the love. I'm going to give you the attention. I'm going to give you the time. I'm going to read some of the books that you left behind. God gave us 66 books in the Bible. Yeah. Let me turn a page and listen.
Yeah. That's actually my project at the moment, by the way. If anybody was wondering, I'm about to read the Bible in order of the order that it's supposed to be in. So I'm going to learn about Jesus first, then I'm going to get into Genesis and whatnot.
Yo.
So that's a project of mine that I'm about to start. I don't know how long it's going to take me, though.
Hey.
It's going to take me forever.
That's a timeless project you got.
Yeah.
Because, I'm going to let you in on a little secret.
What's up?
I got a project, too, talking about heaven for Black people. Taking the Bible out of a structural sense, putting it to perspective for people of color, so we can understand how God is there in a way that Black people get triggered when the Bible talks about slavery. Yeah. I used to, heavy, to the point where I was like, I don't even deal with the Bible like that, because it just didn't seem loving, because it was so much harm in that text. You got to take the text out of uniform and code it to your experience. And as Black people, we experience so much that the Bible is teaching, but we can't get out of the way that it's written. God tells us things in parables and in stories, and some of those stories are so dark. That don't mean that it was meant for us to go through that exact story. Right. The parable is a story told for you to get the lesson. Yeah. You feel me? Sometimes you just got to see that lesson unfold. You finna do something. If you're going to read the Bible in order, I hope you prepared for that experience.
I'm super, super grateful for you coming through, G.
Man, thank you for having me.
I think that it's very, very... I want to get some very, very creative people up here. Like, I want to really dive into the mindsets and the trials and the tribulations of people who just see the world differently. And I think that we all do. But for me to start it with you is
Man,
Insane.
you know I'm light skinned. Don't make me turn red.
Man, nah.
No, thank
G.
you
Like,
for having me.
I really
P.
rock with you, KT. You know, like, it's crazy how we even got cool because, like, before that we wasn't kicking it much, but that locked us in.
Man, I promise you, we were like in a high and by, what's up, G, and then walk away stage until damn near that night.
And then that night it was just like,
man, after that it locked us in.
yeah.
And it was grateful. Like even when we was busy, there would never be a time where we ain't see each other and not speak.
Yeah, 100%.
Then when I would slide to Reese room, shout out Reese.
Shout out Reese.
Man, and you would come in, conversations was had.
Man,
I would be fried as hell, and we would talk about everything. Nothing was off the table.
We got to get Reese in here. I'm gonna get Reese in here because that's the little bro, and
my
I feel like
son,
I'm gonna get Reese in here. He another good one. Reese is another good one. You know what I'm gonna have Reese do? I'm gonna have Reese decorate this.
Reese gonna turn this bitch out. I'm not gonna lie. The way he had y'all living room was crazy. It made me forget that we were in the dorm. Like, for real.
We gotta tell Reese to send us a picture of that because I know he got some pictures of the dorm. I gotta show y'all my dorm in college, G. Dude, he went nuts.
It was
fire.
so dope. I used to love coming to
It was
their
like the
room.
Hooga on steroids.
Yes.
It was the Hooga on steroids.
It was
bro.
lights coming across the ceiling.
He was creative.
He had
as hell.
posters. He had album covers. He had vinyls. He had the couches in a certain way. I think he had like this, like, it was like a certain type of lamp.
He had style. He reminded me of you a lot. He reminds me of you. Just imagine like a short black dude, bro. But he was wavy though, bro.
That's down there how he dressed. Like
he used to always stay fresh, cute as hell.
No, cause
not like that though.
That's crazy.
I'm not saying you. All right, bro. Don't even worry about it, bro. Like,
that's crazy.
Crazy.
But nah, G, I had to tell Reese about himself one day because you know me, I don't be dressing to the T, and we were supposed to be chilling. This man just going what?
That's this nigga. We'd be like, oh yeah, we finna go get some wings. Like, or no, we finna go get some. We be going to get some tacos
and go get a
Pilsen.
And put a whole fit on. Got me looking crazy.
Leather pants,
dog. Like, why is your shirt so crisp?
Has Reese ever wore leather pants around you? If you say yes, I'm fucking him up.
I don't remember leather pants.
All right, good.
I don't remember leather pants from Reese, but I do remember this man had this textural ass button up. And I was like, bro, where are we going? Like, what are we doing here? Like, when he was in the fashion show, he needed to be in the damn fashion show. Because he was one of the only men on campus who could really dress his ass off.
And you know what's crazy about Reese? Like, being around him, he was so bright and, like, energetic and enthusiastic and loving anytime somebody came around. But like for me to live with him and for you to be around him as much as you were, we seen like the other side of Reese that like where he was really like, you know, battling stuff and he was going through stuff, and to still see him get around people like that.
Yes.
He was one of the most socially inclined people I've ever met.
Yes, in my entire life.
He was different.
There are certain people who are just extroverted.
Yeah.
But Reese he cared. He would never cut a conversation short. That man always would show up, and he showed up with energy, even when he was dog tired. Because Reese was another person whose discipline people did not peep for real. That man majored in science and played football at the same time. That man was trying to get it all, still going to work. That was one of the.
He was working the night shift. What
was it called? The whistle. Yeah, because them wings is fire. But
we in that bitch.
Man, he would get off about 2 a.m, wake up at 5 to go to the gym, get out the gym at 7, go to his 8 or 9 a.m, and then be in the room in the middle of his classes, getting to work, doing what he needs to do, go hit the field for practice, because y'all got 7 lifts in a day.
Oh, yeah.
Football
was nuts.
It was nuts. He'll get out around 6, 7 o'clock. After he do his homework, this nigga still got energy. I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Like, how are you like this? Like, he was like an energizer buddy, for real.
Shout out to Reese.
Shout out to Reese. That's been my boy.
We're going to get him in here. But it's crazy, though. It's crazy. St. Xavier was a wild time. I feel
St.
like I was
Xavier.
super like out the way, but it was just because I just didn't trust nobody.
You
To be honest,
was. And, I was the same way, but I was in a lot of organizations. I was a leader in 3 out of the 6 organizations that I was in.
you were super involved.
I was
Yes.
very involved. If I could go back, I probably wouldn't be as involved because I was so tired.
Yeah.
Like, gee. But they was paying for a decent percent of my dorm, so
You know what I say
was
all
grateful.
the time?
What?
If I were to go back to college, I would not do a sport.
I'm not gonna lie, you would have had a different feel for St. X. Like 100%. You would
If
have
I
had
wouldn't have did a sport at them 2 private schools that I attended,
it would be a different experience
Oh, it
for you,
would have
for
been
sure.
different.
For me, I tried to make my experience as black as possible. So I was in tune with all the black people, all the females, all the niggas, like what y'all doing. I was infamous for playing spades. I was whooping ass.
do y'all know how to play spades? You know how to play spades?
Are you
Fuck, he fucked it up again.
are you
Damn.
are you just not a nigga? Are you all right?
Oh no, he's definitely not a nigga. He's definitely not. No, not
Like,
him.
cause
Nope.
Mason, I don't think you understand. In that cafeteria,
Y'all was getting active.
whooping good
I wish I
ass.
would've knew
Oh,
that.
your football homies got crossed up a few times.
I wish I would've knew that.
I'm not the one to play
I
with.
wish I would have knew y'all was in there playing spades. I
Man,
fuck with
look,
spades.
It get real auntie like on that table.
Talking about
I don't
auntie,
play.
like, we can
I don't
run it
fuck
one night.
around.
We can run it one night.
I
What
don't
the chat
fuck
talking about?
around.
What we looking like?
The chat better know how to play some
What
spades.
we looking like? Let's see if they got some questions. Tell they ass drop some questions. Hey, listen, if y'all got any questions for myself or KT, go ahead and drop them, but we're going to keep the conversation going.
Man,
We're going to keep the conversation. What time we at? What did the time say on there, Jay? On the roadcaster?
No, roadcaster.
On the roadcaster, yeah. Oh, we doing decent. We rolling. We probably got, we rolling. That's good shit. What you think? What y'all thinking? That's smooth?
shit.
I fuck with you, G.
I fuck with you
fuck
too,
with you, G.
man.
I fuck with you, G. I feel like this was dope.
Mason, I ain't gonna lie. It's some females that did not know you from St. X. I'm not gonna say no names, but this has happened to me on multiple occasions. Because I was around you, I was around Reese, I was around the football team, doing, just me. And then they'll send me the videos from you and your content. Like, didn't this nigga go to St. Xavier? Yeah, he went to St. Xavier. Put me on with your home. No, like that. It was
shit
always.
stay happening.
I don't think you understand.
Yeah.
This a minimum, maybe 6 females, and this is when I will say this started. Maybe November.
November. I was out of there.
I know you was out of there in November, but
Yeah.
your content was
My content was definitely around, for
like, and they would just be like, he looks so familiar. Where we know him from? I was like, nigga, you probably walked past him going to class.
Yeah.
Like he was a student, like a student. He did homework and everything. Stay in the dorm.
For sure.
And then they be like,
was in that dorm, G. I was in there cooking shit up though.
man, look,
I was in there trying everything. Can we talk
Man,
about that? Let's talk about this as an adult, as fully functional adults.
right,
Do you ever wake up and be like, damn, like I really be trying for real?
man. I don't think you understand. I have been up since 5 o'clock this morning. Trying to just do good. Looking at my peers, not trying to do shit. And somehow they're still functioning. And I'm waking up trying to be a mother, trying to be a writer, trying to be a sister, trying to be a friend, trying to be gang, trying to be a creator, trying to be a source of love, trying to be a source of fucking income. Making sure that in some way, somehow, God is proud of me. There's so many hats that we wear. I really be like, hey, like, God, I really hope you peep this effort. Like, for real, for
The
real.
best revelation you can have as an adult is like, damn, like I can really do shit. And it's so small, right? And a lot of people, they look past that and they don't give gratitude for something as small as that. But I'd be like, bro, like I can really wake up every single morning, tired as hell, not wanting to do it, not even giving a fuck all of the time. And my bills still get paid. The people around me still taken care of. Everything's still healthy. Like,
And that's what's most
that's
important.
the ultimate win.
That's the most important thing. But see, here's the thing. You just said it. A lot of people don't want to fulfill being there for others.
Yeah.
You said it right there. You was like seeing your people still taken care of. A lot of people don't even want to take care of nobody no more. And I feel like that shit is so sad because we have to give. It takes a village not to only raise a child. It takes a village to raise an adult too.
Oh, for sure.
It takes a village to raise an elder. You're always going to need people. Nobody gets it out the mud on their own. I've been doing work with a nonprofit since before I graduated college.
Well, shout them out real quick. Where they at?
Shout out to John Wall Foundation. I love them. They big West Side Chicago, but they do for all Chicago, everything. They just had a back to school drive. 500 book bags. We sat there and
Was this at the
packed them.
McCormick place?
No.
That was the YMCA, I think.
Yeah,
that did that.
that was different. And there was so much going on that weekend with back to school, but we was in full effect, feeding people, giving them book bags, making sure they got everything. We were passing out light bulbs because in this season, that's when light bills change. We about to go into the winter. We about to go into the fall, Chicago's fall. We losing power. We had water. We had light bulbs. We had book bags. We had meals, frozen meals to take and a hot meal to come get when you here. To feed your people, to give a book bag to a student that is going to use these supplies, I understood what it was like to grow up and not have the supplies that you needed sometimes. And you can't go get it for yourself. To help the next man, it really fulfills a certain type of love that can't nobody else give you. But
Do you think that that's why education is hard for people, not even only black people, but people in general, to actually pursue and take serious because of the challenges early, like from neighborhoods like that and for areas like where it's like, you know, like a lot less privileged?
It's hard to take education serious when your textbooks is ripped up, missing pages. They don't fund it. It's different because now it's taught off perspective and not off fact. And education is something that cannot always be, it's not really perspective bound. That's the one thing that's factual for real.
Valid.
History is a fact. But when people start to get their feelings involved, now you're not teaching me education. You're teaching me your way.
And on top of that, I'll go even farther than that. Another piece of it is that since it's subjects that don't interest a lot of people, and these type of people who work as teachers are also people who need to be learning what they're putting out to these kids. I could only imagine the amount of people who are lazy in that and are actually not studying and are actually not prepared.
A lot of teachers forget that they're students.
Right.
You don't become a teacher and then stop learning. You still learning. And now you got to learn the generation that you in. How you taught the class in the 90s ain't going to be how you teaching in the 2000s. That's not how you going to be teaching in the 2010s. And it for damn sure ain't teaching the 2020 kids.
Yeah.
Like, these is a different breed of kids. Like, you cannot have that fixed mindset and try to go teach somebody
You know
something.
who the best person in the world for that?
What, fixed mindset?
No, for continuously optimizing the work that they're doing to reach the newer generations.
Who?
Tim Ross. Please tell me you know who that is.
Who is that?
He's a pastor. He's from the trenches of LA, and he got saved by God. He became a pastor, and now he has a podcast that is out of control, right?
There is one dude that I know, but I don't know his name. That might be him. I'm not sure.
Tim Ross?
It might be.
Probably. Dude is the real deal. But it's like the same messages and the same things that he learned when he was in the trenches and when he first gave his life, he still carries those same messages, but he articulates them in a way that's going to resonate with the generations he's trying to reach in the future.
Yeah.
While still keeping the people along with him that he's always had. And he's like, okay, cool. Like, y'all stay with me. You feel me? We got other lives to save. Dope voice. I highly recommend him.
One thing you cannot Google is experience.
His experience. You
Wisdom
gotta go through it.
is experience. When people, drop certain gems, it ain't gems that you could go look up. Whatever you're going to look up on Google, it's going to be artificial. It's going to be summarized. It's not going to be authentic. You hear about somebody's experience and the quote-unquote gems that they giving you, it ain't just gems. That's pure wisdom because they experienced life.
Yeah.
You can't figure out or go research how to live life. The best teachers are the ones that tell you, I'm still learning.
Yeah.
I'm still in your shoes.
The ones that's humble.
Yeah.
The ones with humility. Exactly what they
Exactly.
preach.
Exactly. And we don't have a lot of those teachers. And to answer your question, education is it's the teachers that's making it bad. It's the lack of funding that's making it bad. But also too, you can't send your child to school and then expect them to retain it if you're not working with them at home.
Yeah.
You have to be a parent.
You
If you're going to be a parent,
really good
you
teacher
are
in the
a everlasting teacher. Like for real, for real.
For sure.
If you are a parent, you have to not only teach, you have to educate yourself. You have to learn from other parents. You got to learn from your parents and your grandparents. You got to learn yourself to teach someone. Our teachers are not teaching themselves about themselves anymore. So what they're teaching is it's not going to be receptive with.
If you're not practicing it, you shouldn't be talking about it.
Man,
For sure.
man.
We
'Cause I
got
could
some,
count.
we got some camera. Where we look? Well, how we looking? It's over with. It's all good. Hey, listen. We're gonna do some closing remarks. KT, thank you so much.
No
The camera
problem.
died over there, so unfortunately we can't cut to you. We can't see you right now. But I just want to let you know that, man, I love you. Continue
you
to do
too,
what you're doing.
man.
Continue to shine your light.
Thank you.
Don't let nothing, no circumstance, no expectation, no trial or tribulation dim your light.
I appreciate it. And
And
same
I'm
for
happy
you.
that you was able to come through tonight. I'm happy that we had the conversation that we had. And I'm wishing you the most upward mobility that anybody could have.
I appreciate
Absolutely.
you. You
Absolutely.
too. Full
For sure.
circle.
For
Keep
sure.
doing what you're doing. Don't stop. I don't care who's got something to say. I don't care who trying to minimize your messages. You are Mason for a reason. And you are out here touching everybody. Don't stop.
Nah, I rock with you. We good? What the chat talk about? For sure.
I love y'all, man.
Love you, KT. Love you, KT. So that's the end for the YouTube. Peace.